Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, man, we got a video titled 10 NBA players caught cheating on live TV, which is television, man. For you guys that don't know that out there. And I will say, like, in my days of playing basketball, I've dealt with some players that have definitely tried cheating. There was this one dude in particular. He was a bigger dude, man. And you know the song WAP, wet, A-word, P-word? This was WAP. Wet ass armpit, bro. Like, literally, this kid would get so sweaty, and what he would do is he would put his big sweaty armpit right in your eyeball, man, and make you, legitimately go like temporary blindness, so you couldn't really see on the basketball court. Like, you legit had to wear damn goggles up in there, man, and it would, be like damn pepper spray or whatever. So yeah, I've dealt with like dirty players like that before in the past, but I'm curious what was caught on television right here, man. This is a video by NBA Central, link to his channel in the description below. Let's get this.
Probably won't believe this at first.
Let's get this.
Cheating happens in the NBA. In fact, it happens a lot more than you might expect. Keep watching to find out about 10 of the most shocking cases of NBA cheating caught on live TV.
Let's see it.
Jared Dudley.
You son of a bitch.
Jared Dudley has never been one of the league's biggest stars, but he has played on some of the best teams.
Jared Dudley.
In 2009, he was a key player on the Phoenix Suns during their prime. The Suns' biggest rival was, of course, Kobe Bryant and the LA Lakers. The Suns wanted to beat LA badly, but everyone knew that LA was the better team.
What'd he do?
This meant Phoenix sometimes had to get creative. Jared Dudley took this a little too far during a jump ball between himself and Andrew Bynum. Andrew Bynum is 7 feet tall, towering half a foot over Dudley.
Fair enough.
Dudley is also not very athletic by NBA standards, so rather than follow the rules and lose the jump ball, Dudley did something that confused everybody and practically brought the entire game to a halt.
Okay.
And that's not
a son of a bitch, man. It's called a jump ball, not a sprint ball. Come on, Jared.
He's the jumper. Right.
Gerard?
So it had to touch somebody else, and that's what Pau Gasol is saying.
Everyone in the building and everyone watching at home knew something was seriously off about this, but at first, it sparked some confusion about the rules. The refs didn't call anything right away. In fact, they called a foul on the Lakers down at the other end of the court.
They got that baby in a foul, right?
This sent some of the LA players into a rage. But others who weren't as familiar with the rules just stood there.
Is it against the rules, though?
Eventually, the officials gathered together and discussed what happened. It was confirmed that what Dudley did is in fact cheating. The player jumping for the ball cannot leave the circle and also cannot catch the tip from his opponent. Luckily for Dudley, the only consequence that came from this clear attempt at cheating was a turnover. John Collins. When you think of performance-enhancing drugs,
oh yeah, remember this, 25-game suspension.
Cycling. But truth be told, performance-enhancing drugs, or PEDs, are used in all sorts of different sports, and basketball is no exception. In fact, if you think about it,
bro, this man is already athletic as hell, bro. Like, why does a guy like John Collins, that's probably like more athletic than like 99% of people, but then you guys are in the NBA. But still, I mean, like, the dude was already athletic. He was what, like, damn 21 years old, so. And it's not like it's a day, like, I just use a prime example, like a 37-year-old Jared Dudley, couch potato looking dude out there. It's not like it was that case where he was trying to like keep athleticism. Like, that was just a stupid idea.
The most physically demanding sports that exist.
Look at that.
Factors like strength,
he's
size,
still doing that stuff too,
and stamina are as valuable to basketball players as they are to any athlete. One recent player who felt like illegally upgrading his stamina was John Collins of the Atlanta Hawks. At the start of the 2019-2020 season, Collins surprised Atlanta fans by improving his stat sheet in almost every category. He was scoring more, rebounding more, doing everything at a higher percentage,
unbelievable,
playing
man.
more minutes than he had during his previous 2 NBA seasons. But the excitement didn't last long. Fans in Atlanta soon learned that what they were watching wasn't natural
LeBron James would
illegal.
never.
Collins was suspended by the NBA for 25 games.
Damn, Jared got him.
Drug test. He tested positive for a growth hormone that he allegedly took in the.
Look at that shit right there, bro. He did that against my Detroit Pistons. Okay, so 192. I'm gonna assume he probably had at least another 20 points in that game. So if he wasn't taking that shit, then the chances are the Pistons could have won that game, which could have altered the draft lottery odds, meaning that we could have got the first pick in the draft. Unbelievable, man. Like, legitimately, the Pistons should be gifted like LaMelo Ball or something for this.
Form of a supplement.
The Atlanta Hawks,
or just give us Trae Young.
Has
make
been
it fair. Or John
suspended
Collins.
for 25 games for testing positive
I'll take Cam
for
Reddish.
a growth hormone.
Collins claims
Deandre
he didn't
Ayton's
know
not on the team
there were
anymore.
performance-enhancing drugs in the supplements he was taking, but the NBA basically laughed at this. By the time Collins returned to play for the Hawks, the regular season was almost over, and they had no chance
imagine
of
Luke
making
Kennard
it
took
anywhere near the
PEDs.
playoffs. Draymond Green. Draymond Green is one of the most controversial players in the NBA. Many have accused Green over the years of playing dirty. Nobody would argue that Green isn't extremely scrappy and aggressive. However, it still might surprise some fans to find out that
James Harden want none of that.
isn't always just unsportsmanlike.
James Harden looks so scared, man.
It's full-on cheating. One of the worst cheats that Draymond has pulled over and over again are the illegal screens he sets. These screens, which often clearly violate the rules, saying you must keep your feet planted, allow deadly shooters like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson to
so I'm gonna say in the case of this, if Draymond Green is getting away with these illegal screens, I mean, that's just poor refereeing, man. That's the referee's job is to call those. And like, if you like, I mean, I'm gonna assume that referees do their homework and stuff too. So if like that Draymond's notorious for doing this, that's on them for not calling it. You know what I'm saying? Like there is no foul call on PEDs. Like the referees are not scientists to know that. Or in the case, what was the first one we watched, man? I got a bad memory. What was the first one we watched? Yo, let me look back here, man. Oh yeah, Jared Dudley's bitch ass. Like, I guess once again they just didn't know that rule at the top of their head. That was just poor refereeing, but they got it right in the end.
The effect they have is massive. Another move of Green's that goes way beyond the rules is his kicking.
Nut kicking. Yep.
It sounds crazy to even say out loud, but Draymond really does kick people in the nuts. Sometimes really hard, putting them in obvious
pain. And apparently only Steven Adams. The man do not like Steven Adams. Aquaman. Ugh.
There's even a third cheating tactic that Green has used more than once, sneaking into the other team's huddle. This is about as clear as an example of cheating as you can imagine. Not only is it obviously against the most basic rules, it's also obvious in the sense that he should get busted right away. But during the playoffs one year, Green got to listen to an insane amount of secret information in the Pelicans huddle before a referee finally ran over. How Alvin Gentry and the rest of the team didn't notice this is impossible to explain. Deandre Ayton. Believe it or not, John Collins wasn't the only player to get suspended for PED use in 2020. So did Deandre Ayton of the Phoenix Suns.
And going back to that too, I think it's important to know with Deandre Ayton is that, it was probably peer pressure, man. There was probably some NBA player, some veteran was like, yo, DeAndre, let me take these PEDs right here, man, and we'll have you balling out there. And he was probably peer pressured and didn't want to do it, and it really affected him psychologically, man, because lately he's actually been playing a lot better basketball without, doing that type of stuff, man. So I think for him it was all psychological, and I think he's probably, playing better basketball now because his conscience is clear of making those bad choices.
Ayton was the #1 draft pick in 2018. But he quickly
found
a way
enhancing,
to tarnish his
but
reputation.
mind melting.
Right before a regularly scheduled drug test, Ayton used a diuretic. Diuretics are strictly regulated by the NBA because you can take them to hide the use of other illegal drugs, like PEDs. The NBA didn't have any direct proof that Ayton was using PEDs, but the use of the diuretic was pretty damn suspicious. There's really no other reason why he would take it right before a drug test. They slapped Ayton with a 25-game suspension.
Deandre Ayton, their former #1 pick, has been suspended for 25 games for violating.
That is the stupidest BS I have ever heard. Like, what is okay. That's some low basketball IQ stuff. So really you need like a diuretic for a diuretic, man, because if you're taking a diuretic which hides the drug usage, but then the diuretic comes up in the test, what's the point? What is the point of that? That makes no damn sense. That's just stupid. That is just stupid.
Substance abuse policy.
That's like going to like a job interview or whatever, and you gotta do like a hair test or something. That's like, I got blonde hair, so that's like me going up to like Ronald McDonald and taking some of his red bitch ass afro and be like, hey, here's my hair. Now Ronald McDonald was on something for sure. You don't be a clown and be in the fast food industry for that long without being on something.
Which was a huge blow for the Suns at the time. Ayton tried to argue that he really hadn't taken the diuretic to cover up drug use and insisted that he be retested. In fact, Ayton argued that he had taken the diuretic by mistake. The NBA wasn't all that convinced by this, but they did agree to retest him and found that he in fact did not have any PEDs in his system. Whether that actually proves anything is not clear.
So why did he get suspended?
It seems like he would have only tested positive if he had continued to use PEDs after taking a diuretic.
Testing positive for Cap.
This did help to soften the blow to Ayton's reputation a little bit. Players Association moved to get Ayton's suspension shortened, citing a little-known provision called unintentional ingestion. Dwight Howard. Being 6'11" and having shoulders the size of exercise balls should be considered cheating already. Dwight Howard has spent nearly 2 decades in the NBA, dominating other players with size and strength. But surprisingly, Howard wound up on the list of NBA players who've been caught cheating after a strange event that happened at a Rockets game.
Okay.
The Rockets were in Atlanta to play a game that they were almost guaranteed to win.
Oh, he was on the Rockets.
For some reason, Howard still resorted to cheating. He was exposed after Paul Millsap went to the line and started complaining about the ball. Nobody knew what he was talking about. Not even Millsap was sure what the deal was. He just knew the ball felt weirdly sticky and uncomfortable.
Were they playing against Kelly Oubre that game? I'm just saying, it could have been a very natural thing. Okay, just continue.
And Millsap's telling him to look at the ball.
Who were they playing against that game?
Must be sticky.
Dwight Howard knew exactly what was going on. He had been using a substance called stickum. Stickum is exactly what it sounds
That's
like.
what they call it these
days. It's a
days.
sticky substance that usually comes in a spray can. Athletes will often apply it to their hands to achieve better grip. Stickum became famous in the 1980s
How would you use it in
NFL
hockey?
banned receivers from spraying it on their hands. It was always against the rules in the NBA as well.
Why would you want the
Until
best?
now,
No wonder you got a broke ass, hingy looking free throw, bro. Like, can you imagine shooting free throws with stickum on your hand? That's why, if you know about Dwight Howard's free throw, it is very hingy, where it's like he is like Spider-Man with his web trying to like release the web or whatever. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Why his free throws are so
never seen a case
bad.
of it being used. Howard later admitted that he had no idea stickum was against the rules and that he'd been using it for years.
Anybody else doing it?
Kidd. It isn't just active NBA players who have been caught cheating on live TV. Sometimes it's former NBA players who come back as coaches. Jason Kidd
Oh, yeah,
was
the
coach of
water.
his former Nets during
The
the
water.
2013-2014 season. The team was not that great, and after a while, Kidd started resorting to some pretty creative tactics to try and help his team win. Once, during a close game on Thanksgiving against the Lakers, Kidd realized his team was in trouble. The Nets were down 2 with under 10 seconds to go, and they were out of timeouts. What Kidd came up with was as savage as it was illegal. He told one of his players to hit him, and when he did, Kidd purposely spilled his drink all over the floor. Kidd himself admits this wasn't the
Taylor,
world's
hit
best
me, now get
acting,
your ass back on the bench.
How did you rate that? Give me a scale of 1 to 10 of your acting skills.
Real
there.
stiff.
but it did cause the game to stop for a few moments.
Should have got
This
technical.
gave Kidd the
or
chance he
delay
needed
game.
to draw up a play and show it to the Nets. Sadly, it didn't work. The Nets ended up losing the game, and on top of that, Kidd was issued a $50,000 fine. Unlike players who get in trouble for PED use, however, this only raised Jason Kidd's stature in people's mind. It was just about the
And now he's
coolest
an
thing
assistant
anybody had
coach.
ever seen a coach try to do. It also showed Brooklyn fans that Coach Kidd was serious about winning at all costs. It would be kind of cool if coaches could get away with this sort of thing. It might even make the NBA more entertaining. But the truth is, there's just no way anybody could ever get away with it when the whole game is on live TV. Andrew Bogut and Brandon Jennings.
Oh, dear God.
After Andrew
Former
Bogut joined the
Detroit
Golden
Piston,
State Warriors
Jennings.
and won an NBA
Used to
championship,
love his game.
he was trying to cheat his way to the top while on the Milwaukee Bucks. This
See,
case of
Chauncey.
cheating caught on live TV is unique because it actually involves two players working together. Bogut and his teammate Brandon Jennings came up with a sneaky plan to
Broke
cheat at
ass
the
free throw
line.
shooter. Well, he
Bogut
made
is a
it.
great player, but he's not a great free throw shooter.
Made
So
that
when he
first
got
one.
fouled, he and Jennings decided to put their plan into action. As the players on the floor reassembled for the free throws, Bogut and Jennings just casually traded places. Jennings, of course, was one of the best free throw shooters on the Bucks roster. What is so amazing about this moment is that Jennings actually managed to shoot and make a free throw before anybody
Yeah, it's
noticed.
pretty sneaky.
This happened in the opposing
Sneaky,
team's
sneaky.
arena. You'd think there would have been an uproar much sooner. After Jennings made the free throw, he prepared to shoot the second, but that was when suspicions arose. You can actually see the scorebar freeze on the TV broadcast. Whoever was running it realized something was up and they paused it. It would have been even crazier if the point had been added, but it never was. The refs suddenly realized they had been hypnotized by the smooth tricks of Bogut and Jennings, and they made Bogut come back to the line. Bogut missed both his free throws and justice was served. Keto Turco Glue. After
What?
watching this video,
What'd you
might
just call
have
that, man? Okay, this better have something to do with glue. This better have
served. Keto Turco Glue.
turco glue.
After
man.
watching this video, you might start to think of
Turco glue.
basketball instead of baseball or cycling the next time
It better
somebody
have something to do with
mentions
some damn
performance-enhancing
glue.
drugs.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yet another player to get busted for steroids was Keto Turco Glue back in 2013. Today, the Orlando Magic are right alongside Detroit at the very bottom of the NBA.
Hey.
But it's easy to forget how, not that long ago, they were in the finals.
We don't gotta mention Detroit in that statement. That was not needed.
Alongside Dwight Howard and his illegally sticky hands, Keto Turco Glue was a starter for the team that faced off against Kobe Bryant and the Lakers in the 2009 finals.
Sorry.
Like his teammate Howard, Turco Glue was also cheating.
Okay, I
In
can't.
2013, he was busted for using a PED called methanolone. He says he got it from his personal trainer back in his home country of Turkey. Turco Glue was suspended for 20 games and the news went all around the world. This was one of the earliest cases of a basketball player getting busted for steroids. It also happened right around the time Lance Armstrong admitted to doping on the Oprah Winfrey Show, which meant that athletes taking steroids was a hot button issue.
The Tour de
many
France,
other athletes who have been busted, Turkoglu said that the only reason he was taking the drug was to help recover from an injury. He'd been out most of the season with a broken hand. He was also nursing a shoulder injury that he said gave him horrible pain during workouts.
I was battling a shoulder injury throughout my workouts. I took something that I shouldn't be taking.
I will say, if there is stuff out there that allows your body to heal quicker, you feel like the NBA would be open to that. Listen, I'm not a scientist, man. I hated biology class, growing up and stuff. But I feel like that should be a thing. Like, if it helps you, that should be utilized.
This made the whole thing that much more controversial. Many defended Turkoglu and said the suspension was unfair, while others claimed it was the same old excuse they'd heard dozens of times before from other athletes. Turkoglu's career pretty much ended after this. It's hard to say how much the controversy played a part and how much it was just a result of his injuries and age, but it left a stain on his career that never came off. Joe Smith and Kevin McHale. In 1999, Joe Smith was playing alongside a young Kevin Garnett on the Minnesota Timberwolves. The general manager of the Timberwolves,
unstoppable,
former Celtic Kevin McHale, and owner Glenn Taylor devised a plan that would allow them to give Joe Smith an $86 million contract, way above the salary cap.
Hell yeah,
the way the scheme was supposed to work was that Smith would initially agree to being paid way below his market value. This would allow the Timberwolves to retain something called bird rights.
Yep.
Bird rights are named after Larry Bird. Basically, they allow teams to exceed the salary cap in order to re-sign players. It's a little confusing, but all you need to know is that McHale and Smith were trying to exploit a loophole in the rule. They were probably counting on how confusing it was, hoping nobody would figure out what they were up to. At first,
yeah, but imagine paying Joe Smith $86 million. Like, I mean, if anything, you got let off the hook.
Worked, but then David Stern found out about it.
Wish that happened to Charlie Villanueva on Detroit.
Mr. Stern leveled one of the harshest punishments in basketball history on them. Ooh. He fined the team a whopping $3.5 million. He forced both Glenn Taylor and Kevin McHale out of the league for almost 2 years. On top of all that, Stern took away the Timberwolves' first-round draft pick in 2001, but he still wasn't done. Stern then took away their first-round draft picks in 2002, 2003, 2004, and 2005. This brutal punishment basically...
Damn, he would have sent like John Collins to the damn Euro League, kicked him out of the NBA for the damn PEDs.
Destroyed the franchise. Instead of building a roster behind their star Kevin Garnett, the Timberwolves continued to suck until Garnett eventually left for Boston. This will definitely go down as one of the worst cheating scandals in league history and definitely one of the most costly punishments for it as well. If you like this video, be sure to check out our other videos.
All right, man, that's the end of that right there. Video by NBA Central, guys. Give me some more instances in the comment section below of NBA players cheating. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.